Well, I know I'm supposed to be back to work on the floor in the spare room, but I can't quite bring myself to get back to it as of yet. So I've been doing a little bit more work outside. As you saw earlier, I was working on the chipper, get it all ready to go. So I've started to use it. One of the issues with that chipper is that it just blows its chips out onto the ground. That means that there is a lot of work cleaning up, shoveling and that type of thing to put it into my trailer in order to spread it around, which gets tiring on the back. So I thought, well, why do that? I've got this little Kubota tractor here to do the lifting for me. So I've made a little box that goes on the forks for the tractor, and this gets set in front of the chipper at the opening. And while the chipper's running, it just dumps its chips into the box. And I just have to rake them back and keep it going. And then I pick the box up and dump it into the trailer. So it works really well. I did just an experimental run on it yesterday. I've got a little alteration to do on it today. I've got to put some blocks on the bottom of it to stop the front from wanting to come off of the forks to keep it in line. But besides that, it works good. So I'm going to make that little alteration here today, and then we're going to go up and run the chipper and grind up some of this great pile of brush that I've got. Okay, we got everything laid out and ready to go. I have coated the bottom of the box with a combination of old car wax and kitchen spray, so hopefully that will allow the chips to slide out nice and easy. And I got the chipper tucked into the entrance of the box, so that's all set. And I've got the big trailer sitting here all ready to go. So once the box is to its capacity, or as much as I think the tractor will handle, I'll dump it into the trailer. And as you can see from over here, there is a lot of brush. Well, there it is, our first box load. I don't want to overdo the weight in the box or it'll just become too awkward with the tractor. So we'll see how this works. Well, that's pretty good. We filled it about a third of the way. This is nice stuff. This is all hardwood. Mostly maple. That's from the trees that I cut down earlier, the ones that worried me, that were a little too close to the house and had a bit of a tip to them and looked like they were rotting. So the main part of it went to Derek for firewood, and all these chips are going to go down to my paths and spread around the tractor dome and the other areas, help keep the mud down. It works really, really well. So the chipping's been going pretty good. You can see what I've been doing here with them, spreading them out in front of the tractor dome. This really helps keep the mud down. I was amazed at how good it worked this spring after the melt. There was just no mud back around here wherever there was wood chips, but the areas where there wasn't wood chips, it was a muddy quagmire. So we filled in a lot of that area now, and that should really help. And I've got only about a third of the way through that first batch of maple, but the blade probably needs to be sharpened and my back badly needs a rest. So we're going to bring the chipper back down to the shop, and I'm going to take the blade out of it and give it a good sharpening so it's ready again for the next day. and we'll see whether or not we come back to it tomorrow or whether we go back to the floor. Anyway, been a good day, good productive day, lots of chipping done, and let's go get things sharpened up and ready for the next day. Alright, so we've had a bit of fun with the chipper outside, and it is finally time where I can't dodge this anymore, and I've got to get back to work on this room. So it's not too far off. I've got a few rough spots to clean up and a couple of small divots to fill, and then it has to be sealed up, and then we'll actually be ready for tiles. So let's see how far we can get on it today. Well, that looks a little better. I've gone all the way around the room, scraped up all the high spots. It looks like this top and bond that I used just was not right for the job. So, live and learn. And this time I'm going to try using the polymer from Home Builder. Home Hardware is where I got it from. And it's a floor leveler and patching compound, and it's all pre-mixed and it feels quite thin, so all I have to do is stir it up and trowel it on. We'll see how that goes. Well, I like it so far. So I'm pretty excited with how this stuff is working. It really looks like this is going to do the job. Well, I am really happy with how this worked. I did a lot more than what I planned on doing. I've gone over the entire floor with it, and it really looks good. I think this will do it. There'll be a couple of spots that I'll have to touch up with sandpaper, and maybe one or two low spots to go over yet. But besides that, it really looks good. I am very happy with this. All right, so the floor looks good. The leveling compound is completely dry, so the next step is to sand off all the ridges left behind by the trowel, and that should be pretty easy. I've got my sanding pad here hooked up to my vacuum. It's the same type of thing that I use on drywall mud. So we'll see how that works, and let's get this done. Well, it's coming. It looks pretty good. But I gotta say, I'll never do a floor like this again. So one of the things I noticed while I was putting the sealant down with the roller, it looked like it was a little bit foamy and there was going to be bubbles left in the surface from the roller. So what I ended up doing was using the roller to apply the sealant to the floor and then go over top of that with the brush. And that did leave me with a nice smooth surface. So it has dried very well. I was a little concerned I was going to end up with kind of a pebbly surface, and that would have ruined everything. But no, it looks good. The floor is finally sealed and ready for tile. That has been quite the job. But it looks good, nice and smooth. The sealant that I put down has made the floor feel like it has a nice smooth finish now, like it's painted almost. So we'll give it a couple of days to dry and then start laying out and putting the tile down. But in the meantime, we'll get back outside and have a little more fun out there. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you again soon.